Hi everyone, Cynthiaaloowho here, and today I have a tutorial for a picnic basket that is weaved with chipboard. And here is my basket finished. It was very easy to do, and inside here you can see that it's actual chipboard that I painted, and it's strong enough to use if I want to take it on a little picnic. And I will take some pictures of it as well. It's been propped up as a, just a showpiece since I made it. So there is that. And I just used some lace that I had on hand. Some, what are these, brads that I put a pearl on because they were ugly. And then I just made sure that it had about a 2-inch in between the little flaps. And I put a little ribbon here just to add a little bit of decoration. And so I'm going to put this back in here, and the tutorial is going to be for a smaller basket. Oops. But you can make it any size you want. It just depends on the length and how many pieces you want to go up. So for the smaller basket that we are going to make, or that I am going to make, I'm using medium weight chipboard because heavyweight's just going to be way too hard. It's not going to go in smoothly. It's going to end up cracking and stuff. So you'll need medium weight for this project. If you're going to use it for just a showpiece, you could use lightweight, stuff like that, but medium weight or cereal boxes, graham cracker boxes, stuff like that is going to be perfect for this project. If you're in need of medium weight chipboard, I have some for sale for $9.99 for 30 sheets plus flat rate shipping and handling for US only. I will put a link in the description for it. And it's just going to be while supplies last. I'm not going to be ordering anymore. I have plenty that's going to last me, quite a while. So this basket is going to measure 8.5 inches long by 6 inches wide, and it's going to be 4 3/8 inch high. So just a little cutie basket. And so for the long side, you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of chipboard cut at 8.5 by a 1/2 inch. And you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that are a 1/2 inch by. I cut mine at 6 and then just cut the excess after because it's easier just to get them in to have a little extra, instead of having them exact when you place it in. So you will need 9 of those, and for the sides it's going to be 8 inches high, or 8 by a 1/2 inch. It's going to be 8 pieces of chipboard high, and those are going to be, let's see, 6 inches long by a 1/2 inches wide. And then the same, it's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 pieces that you're going to weave in. That are, you can have them 6 and then just cut the excess by a 1/2 inch. So I've done the 2 small, I've done the 2 sides, or whatever, there's 4 sides. 2 of the short sides and 1 of the long sides. And I'm going to do 1 long side here, and then I'm going to crackle paint it. So the way I do mine is I have 8 ready to go for the length I need, which is 8.5. You can do yours any size you want. If you want it to be wider, like on my other one, I did 11 inches, which is the chipboard turned 8.5 by 11, so I did 11 inches. And then for the sides, I think those are about 7 inches wide. And then up, how many I did up? I did 11. So That's how you can make yours bigger if you'd like, or you can make it smaller. It's just all up to you. Just make sure you match your sides. The long side has to be the same and the short sides have to be the same. So I have these kind of lined up, and I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to weave. So for my first one, and when I put these on, I'm going to go over, under, and then I'm going to make sure that the spacing in between this one and this one, it has a 1/16 of an inch in between. You don't want it tight like that because you want to be able to weave. So pull it out about a 1/16 of an inch for each one. So I'm going to do this, but we will fast play it because you don't need to. That's going to drive you crazy to sit there and watch me glue each piece. So and I make sure that this end lines up with this one and that it's the square. Make sure it's about a 1/16 of an inch away from the next one. Give or take. This project is very forgiving. You can always, because at the end we're going to add a 1-inch strip at the bottom. Let's see, 1 inch. Yeah, so it's gonna, you can pretty much just pull it down if you need it to be a little bit higher and cut off, like, see how this one has about 1/8 of an inch. This bottom one is about 1/8 of an inch higher than that. So I'm going to come in with my Tim Holtz scissors before I actually put it together, and I'm going to slice off 1/8 of an inch on this one to make sure that these match exact. And let's see. Same with this one. Either that, or I can make sure that when I put the 1-inch strip on this one, I make sure that it lines up 1/8 of an inch longer on just this piece, which is, yeah, I'm going to do that one. So either way, you can either cut some off, or you can fix it with your 1-inch strip that you put on. And there's going to be a lot of spider webs on this one. If you use hot glue, you can use any kind of glue you want. I'm just using hot glue because that works for me. Hope I don't forget to, since I just explained that, I don't want to fast play the parts that I just talked about. We're going to need that information. So fast play from here. And right here, and then we are going to start weaving. So take your first piece, and because that's on top, I'm going to go over, let me make sure I'm in, over, under, over, under, over, under. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to slide it all the way back, trying to make sure that it's square this way, and you get about 1/2 of an inch, a little bit less than that in between this one and the previous one. So now we're going to do the opposite. Now it's going to go under, over, under, over, under, over, under. And slide that till you feel a little bit of give, or till you feel it getting a little tight. Next one, we're going to go over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. It's kind of fun. It's like when you were, you know, back in 1st, 2nd grade and you got to play with your little pieces of paper and weave them. Okay, so that's right. Okay, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Okay, and so this one just slides right till it's even with that. So you can adjust them a little so they look a little more lined up. And then another thing you need to do is you need to make sure that the measurement from here to here, which it ends up being 4 3/8, you need to check the end of this one with this one and make sure those are the same, which it is. And if it's not, just pull it out a little bit like that and then glue it. So I glue these ones first, so everything's kind of aligned. Just put a little bit of glue in there, squeeze. And this paints up so nicely. It doesn't warp. And even if it did, it really wouldn't, you wouldn't be able to notice it because it's going to be a basket anyway. Okay, so those are glued on, and now you want to go around to all of the edges and cut them even, just like this. And then glue those. You can use whatever glue you'd like. Okay, so now I'm crackle painting all of the pieces. I've already done 3 sides. I saved this to do in the tutorial. You're also going to need for your handles 11 inch by 1 inch, 2 pieces for 2 handles. And then for the bottom, right here, you're going, and I'm going to put lace over the top of mine, so if you're not going to put anything over it, just do it all the way. Do your crackle painting all the way up on one side. And so for the bottom, it's going to be like a rim that goes around the entire basket that's 3/4 inches wide, so you're going to need 2 that are 8.5 by 3/4, and then you're going to need 2 that are 6 by 3/4, 6 inches by 3/4. And so I'm crackle painting them before I put the basket together because it's just going to be much easier. So I just took a dark base paint. This one is just brown by Craftsmart acrylic. I don't use any gloss paint, and I just quickly brushed it through because you just want that crackle effect to show up really strongly, and having a dark base is going to do that for you. And then Elmer's just school glue, white glue, and then you just put a coating of that, and it, you know, heavy or thin, whatever. The thinner the coat, the smaller the cracks. The thicker the coat, the bigger the cracks. So I have my brush, and nothing has to be perfect because we're just trying to get a quick coat on here. So get your glue on, and then when you paint it, the direction you paint it is the direction that, not the glue, but the actual paint, is the direction the cracks are going to be. And I want the cracks to go this way. So you really want to load your brush up with paint because you just got to do a quick swoop. So just like this, turn, and then if there's little teeny areas, if you can go back in without touching the other areas, just put it in there. You don't want to do it too hard because you don't want to take your glue off. And also, mine is going to be Shabby Chic, so it's going to just be all messy anyway. I've already cut the base for the basket as well, and the base is, what was it? 9.5 by 7, and then a 1/2 inch score line on all 4 sides. That's going to be the base of the basket. So I'm going to let these dry really good and crackle up real good, and then I will be back when everything's really good and dry. Okay, so now I've got everything crackle painted, and all of these 3/4 inch strips are going to go along the bottom of each piece. And you've got 2 at 8.5 by 3/4 and 2 at 6 by 3/4. And because this one ended up being shorter than all the rest, I'm going to pull this trim piece 1/8 of an inch down, so it's going to make them all square. Or make them all the same size. Why does that look wider than that? Huh. Okay, so let's get to gluing. I'm going to do this one first because this is the one that needs to be corrected. So it's the same height as all the other pieces. There we go. You want to make sure that your crackle paint is pretty dry before you do this, because you're going to be handling it, and that stuff is slippery when it's wet, and you can mess it up very easily. Now this one, let's just pull my hot glue sticks out so I have them ready. Okay, so now let's grab our base, which again is 9.5 by 7. Scored 1/2 of an inch on all 4 sides. And now you're going to take and glue on your pieces on each side. Making sure that it is nice and even along the bottom and the sides. For this piece you can use heavyweight if you want it sturdier and you're going to use it for stuff. Glue that on. Make sure that that's right. Okay, then the sides. No, I'm videotaping. You gotta get out. I'm filming, monkey. Get out. Okay, and then the other side. And the last side. Oh boy. And it is like 8 o'clock at night here. So sorry about the noise. Okay, so there we've got all those done. Now you're going to need you need 4 pieces that are 1/2 inch by 2 inch. Switch this, and that's how we're going to connect. That's not 2 inches, is it? No. This is going to make our top part of it bigger than the bottom part of it. So 2 inches by 1/2 of an inch, and I'm just going to do a few of them because I'm going to need some longer pieces to connect down each corner. Okay. So what we're going to do is when we connect the sides, it's going to be at an angle like this on all 4 corners. And you probably can't really tell on my other one. So 1/2 inch in and 1/2 inch in. So you can mark it if you want, but I can pretty much eyeball 1/2 inch. And that is going to glue onto this piece, and then the other 1/2 inch is going to glue onto that piece. So I'm going to just kind of get it bent because it's going to be bending around. So you can take it on the edge of your table and just kind of make sure that it moves. And you kind of want to tilt it up a little bit, just a tiny bit. So when you go to this side, just a tiny bit. Okay, and then the other side, 1/2 inch of this is going to overlap onto this piece. So if you look, we've got, it's coming out at an angle, and we're going to skip this row, go to the next row, and go behind that and put another one. So take your little piece of chipboard and get it so it's not all stiff, bend it a little bit. And so from here, you just glue it, and it's going to be where it goes. But we're going to do this corner first. So 1/2 inch overlap onto this piece. It's going to overlap 1/2 inch on that side. So it's going to give you about 1 inch in between on the very top row. Just like that. And do that all the way around on all sides. Bend this a little bit. You could do a bunch of scores on it if you want. Okay, 1/2 inch overlap on this side and on the other as well. And we got our angle there, our little triangle. And you may have a better way of doing this, but I really wanted the top, I wanted it to increase in size going to the top. That looks more like a picnic basket to me, and this is the way I figured out to do it. So you might have a better way. And now this side, and then all we're going to do is we're going to skip every row on the inside. So not this one but the next one, not this one but the next one, not this one but the next one, and we're just going to connect them inside here. So you're going to need a lot of little pieces, so that's why I saved all these pieces that I cut off from when I made these sides. I saved them because we're going to do it on the outside as well, and then we're going to have to crackle paint those afterwards, but we have to crackle paint the lid anyway, so I just figured that we could do that later. It's really easy anyway. So now, since it's already in place where it's going to be, all you have to do is put your piece of chipboard back here, and then when you glue it, just push it out a little bit so it comes out. Not too much. You don't want to force this wider than it should be. Make sure I push record. Okay, so I'm going to do this one side on camera, and then I'm going to finish all the rest and then come back to do the outside. And you could also put one like this going down and then just cut it at an angle, but it's strong enough the way that I'm doing it that I'm not going to need to do that. So now I'm just going to find a smaller one from my cuts before. I'm going to bend it. And it's getting the angle's getting sharper as you go down. To make it easy, I'm going to do both sides with the glue, and then eyeball that row, and then press on the sides. And then one more. Just going to use a little guy here. Bend it up real good. And this time I'm going to put the glue inside here on the next row. Hopefully you can see. I'm going to line that up on that row and just push it. Okay, and I'll do the outside real quick. And these are going to go on the very opposite ones all the way down. Just like that. And a smaller one. I have paint on my hands. Next one right here. Okay, I'm going to do that to all four corners and I will be back. Okay, so now we're going to do the lid, the flaps, and you're going to need two pieces that are 8 1/4 inches long by 4 5/8 inches wide, and then you're going to need a center piece, where is it? Right here, that is going to go across, and it's going to have 2 tabs, and that's going to be directly in the very center, like that, and we're going to hook the flaps to this. I've already done one, and I mark the bottom with an X so I know exactly which side it goes on. So that will attach to that one, and that will attach to that one. So the best way I found, oh, and this center piece is 1 inch by 9 1/4, and it's scored on this side at 1/2 inch and this side at 1/2 inch. The best way for me to make sure that this lid fits perfectly is I just flip it over and then I trace around the edge, because I want it to fit perfectly. I don't want I don't want the flap to fall in. So no matter what, it needs to, the edge of your basket needs to come to the edge of this piece on this edge. And you may have just a teeny bit of room on the sides, but once you push down, it should be pretty close to the edge. So there just may be a tiny, tiny bit. And then I trace till I get right there. And same with this side. And I'm drawing very softly because I don't want to push the basket in while I'm tracing. Okay, and then I'm going to put an X here so I know this is the bottom, the inside. So now cut right on the inside of your pen line, or pencil line, whatever you choose to use. Okay, so I'll flip it around and I will check and make sure that it fits just perfectly, and it does. Okay, so now that we have these two pieces, oh, and the handle that we had made before that was 11 inches by 1 inches, you're going to need another 5-inch piece that's 5 inch by 1 inch and then overlaps almost 1 inch, because we need this handle to be able to go all the way around like that. So cut the second piece that you made, cut that one up and cut two pieces that are 5 inches, and then just do a whole nother 11 inch by 1 inch. So I'm going to crackle paint these, and I still have this piece from the other one that I made. I'm going to crackle paint these really quick, and I will come back and we will assemble it. Okay, so I've got everything crackle painted, and I doubled these up to give it some more stability, and I also put an inch along the inside of the basket, an inch by 11 inches. So this one is 1 inch by 11, 1 inch by 11, and then I just filled in these two areas with chipboard just to give it some more strength. So what you want to do now is you want to go 1/4 inch from each side, and you want to punch a hole and do that every inch on both sides. And I use my crocodile to do that. And then I lined it up and did the holes on the same right next to it, 1/4 inch from the edge every inch. So I'm going to use seam binding to connect mine. You can use whatever you would like, and I'm going to go up this side, down through the center, back up through this one, and down through this side. That way it holds it in place. And then go up through this side, and down through that one, up through the next one, down through this one, just like that. And do that all the way across. And now I'm just going to glue the seam binding to the piece of chipboard, just like that. And this one as well. Okay, nice and secure. And then also you want to punch your holes for your basket for your handles. And I just found the center. I based it on this bottom piece. I found the center, went up, and then went 2 inches out from the center and 3/4 of an inch down from the top. So let's see if it goes this way or this way. I don't know, this corner here is poking out pretty good here. Okay, and then you want to center it as good as you can. And you want to glue your little tabs right here down. So and same with this side. Glue your little tab down. And then on your handles, you want to punch a hole that's about 1/4 of an inch from the edge and right in between. Right, center it. And then however you choose to attach yours, go ahead. I'm going to use some of these brads, and because mine are kind of goofy, I'm probably going to put some pearls. Well, that's pretty, but I don't have all the same. I only have 3. Should have probably found these before, so I'll use this one. I'm going to put a pearl over it anyway. This one. That one. And this just comes together so fast, and then you can, as long as you get your handle pretty strong, you could actually use it. So, I mean, if you use a brad, make sure that after you have it inside, that you glue the back of that to make sure it's nice and strong. So I'm just going to attach my handle with a brad. So what I would do to strengthen that is probably put a little, make sure it still moves, so you'd want to put something on above it so that you're not gluing the actual brad to the basket itself. So put like something in between the chipboard or the basket and the prongs. You could use anything like even like a washer, like, you know, the little washers that you use for whatever, mechanics and stuff, whatever, you know, the tools, washers. I have a thing right here of them. I use washers a lot in crafting. So flat washers, and they just look like that. So put that in between the chipboard and the prongs, and then glue your piece of chipboard or whatever over that. And look, it works. So there's that side. And then when I decorate it, I'm going to put lace around the whole top here, so it will, all the top part will be covered. Could probably use a little nut and bolt too. I have a bunch of that. Alright. The picnic basket is done. Got your little handles. Isn't it so cute? I'm going to glue some pearls here and then decorate this and take some pictures. And that will be at the end of the video. So I hope you like this tutorial, and thanks so much for watching. Also, don't forget about the chipboard. I'll put a link in the description. If you order more than one set, I will have to bill you for any extra shipping charges because it doesn't automatically add the shipping for each one. And if you want to order more than 2 sets of chipboard and you want me to just throw it in a box, a flat rate, priority flat rate box, which will be cheaper if you buy than if you buy 3 and just get the additional shipping. So you know what I'm saying. So it's priority flat rate shipping, US only, and I will get it sent out immediately. So thanks so much for watching. Bye!